Agbakoba urges National Assembly to break Supreme Court mafia. Oh boy. So Agbakoba now knows that, even as a former son, understand now that there's mafia at the Supreme Court. So what can be done to break it? He should help the National Assembly to do that job, not coming out. The way this guy talks back and forth, left, right, and center. Sometimes he will come back now and say that he did not say this. He will come back now and say he didn't say this. Again, let's get into the details to see what he meant by the mafia at the Supreme Court. A former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Dr. Olisa Agbakoba, son, has called on the National Assembly to break the mafia in the Supreme Court. Lamenting on the nation's judiciary, Agbakoba urged the 10th Assembly to immediately address the problem of the survival of Nigeria, saying the legislature has the power to bring about a new constitution. The former NBA president, who also described the nation's government structure as very weak, stated this on Wednesday in a press conference at his law firm on Creek Road, Apapa, Lagos. He said, many of you will realize that nothing works in this country. I mean, look at what happened in the elections. The judiciary, in my 45 years of practice, has never been as low as this. Even the Supreme Court, Justice John Okoro, castigated the appeal court for a terrible judgment where they removed virtually everybody in the plateau political system. We can't grow if we have a weak judiciary, and therefore the only way to grow is to break up this mafia in the Supreme Court. It is like saying, you know what, no woman in Nigeria shall be entitled to political office. That's what they have done to us in the judiciary. No lawyer is entitled to attain to the Supreme Court. It is only them. Okay? So they created a mafia, blocked us out, and appointed themselves so they can't be there, so they can be their best. So I recommended to the National Assembly to understand the difference between administration of justice and judicial administration. In respect to judicial administration, the National Assembly can intervene. Agbakoba maintained that nothing says that Nigeria must be one country, adding that it is not sacrosanct that we must be one country. If in being one country, you have all the killings in Jos, in Abuja, everywhere, what's the point of being one country? So he said, quote me, if we continue on this path to deploy the military, deploy resources, and I don't even know how much has been spent by the military in acquiring armaments, we can't win. It is a mistake. We cannot resolve our problem by military solution. It will not happen. So military option will not give Nigeria peace. That you can take from me. If it happens in 2 years, I will give you a free lunch. So the first thing we must do is to find a way to resolve our crisis. So that is what Agbakoba is saying now. So Agbakoba is not telling us that judiciary is a scam. That is what it means. The mafia, they fence them out and then put themselves alone there. The only reason judiciary is the way it is because the presidency is having an absolute power to appoint who heads the judiciary. The judiciary is supposed to be an independent arm of the government that will have a process and protocol for electing their leadership and their part. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, the judiciary is in the pocket of the executives. And so the executive arm of the government, especially the president, determines who become the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the CJN, who becomes the Attorney General Federation, the AGF, and who becomes everything, who determines how to select the presidents of the appeal courts. So all of these are very, very bad. Okay, and until we stop this unitary system of government and break down or dissolve, or rather devolve the powers of the presidency, all of this will not be corrected, apart from what Agbakoba is saying. But Agbakoba is trying to say that there's mafia at the Supreme Court. I'm sure he wants to be a member of the Supreme Court system, but he is already a private practitioner. How can he be? Because people who are actually in the judicial arm of the civil service are the people that can grow up to the level of being in the Supreme Court. That is the way it works. Okay, so if you're a private practitioner, you're a private practitioner, and that is your path you have chosen. Don't stray from your private practice back into the civil service. That is it. Okay, so Agbakoba is now telling us that the way things are going, Nigeria will not work, especially with the insecurity everywhere in the country, and deploying military left, right, and center without having to produce results with that. So if we continue as one Nigeria is going to give us this problem, let's go our separate ways, because there's no way it is cast in concrete that we must be one Nigeria. These are the things that Agbakoba is trying to say. But one thing about Agbakoba is that he will say one thing today, tomorrow he will come and say another thing. If you hold him now he's saying you should quote him. Okay? If Nigeria gets better in 2 years, we will give somebody free lunch. Who are you going to give free lunch? How much do you have? But I'm sure by the time they hold him now, probably he's trying to generate a pandemonium or a legal case now where he will feed from. Because he don't trust. He talks left, right, and center, talks back and forth. Okay? But the truth of the matter is that Nigeria being one, there are two problems Nigeria has. Being one is a big problem, because already we have seen that both the Yoruba, the Hausas, and Igbos cannot coexist. This is a forced marriage that can lead to a murder of a party of that marriage, because that is already what is happening. Igbos are dying. The part of the Northerners are dying because of the banditry that is going on. The people saying that we must be one Nigeria are the people that are benefiting from the oneness politically. They are using it to achieve their political aim, their personal interest, and to make their money. Those are the people that are saying we must be one Nigeria. Otherwise, it's not working. And if we must be one Nigeria, this presidential or unitary system of government must be removed. All the loopholes in Nigerian constitutions must be removed by doing a constitutional review. I know that something was done by Jonathan in 2014, a constitutional review that was done, and a lot of things about how to reform and restructure Nigeria. That report they had to put in the cooler. The Hausas did not want to bring out that report because that will probably disenfranchise them in some ways, because those guys are not productive at all. So we know what to do to make Nigeria work, but for some reasons the politicians do not want to do it, because if they do that, the avenues through which they are stealing Nigerian resources will not be there anymore. So the only reason Nigeria is the way it is because of the selfish interest of Nigerian politicians. And it is a very bad one, I must say the truth. It is a very bad one. I don't know when things will get better, but I tell you, the politicians are the biggest problems that we have in this country. So that is what Agbakoba is saying, that the mafia in the Supreme Court must be broken, the judiciary must be reformed, the Nigerian constitution must be revisited and corrected. Otherwise, Nigeria continuing to exist as one with all the 40 foundations and 40 backgrounds is just a mess, a big mess to Nigeria as a nation. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment.